Hey guys, Booligan here with Booligan Shooting Sports. Today, giving you guys a proper full video introduction of my latest project. This, for gamers of a certain age, may recognize is a pistol styled after the Halo Magnum. In Halo lore, the Magnum is a particularly overpowered, really kind of giant pistol because, you know, Spartans are wearing big armor, big dudes. Obviously, for that to be something more usable, we're scaling it down a little bit. This is based around a Glock 19. So in this, you have the frame, lower portion, which is legally the only portion of this that is considered to be a firearm. And it is designed by me off of the Print Your 2A Glock 19X design. So it's a 19 length slide with a 17 length grip. I obviously have modified it substantially to more closely resemble the general fit and feel of a Halo Magnum pistol. The textures and some of the details on the solid shape have been tweaked by Chairman Juan. He went ahead and is developing a full texture pack for these as well that are going to be very, very close to the actual like screen used textures in the game. So stay tuned for that. This is the very first complete prototype of this. As I mentioned, it does use a printed lower, and then up top, it uses a standard Glock 19 slide, barrel, etc. But obviously it doesn't look like a standard Glock 19 slide because it features a cover. This is a 3D printed cover that fits over the slide and gives it more of that Magnum look. Well, this particular version still allows you to aim it because in game, this hump's a little bit bigger and has like a laser and some other stuff in it. Well, I will have a version that you can kind of slice and dice and do whatever you want with. Not this one. This one, we went with just normal iron sights at the rear, and then at the front, the factory Glock front sight is actually part of this one's retention method. So how is it retained to the slide? Why is it so far back? Why does this thing have such a big back strap, or a beaver tail, excuse me? To answer those questions. So it's retained to the slide at 2 points. First, through the front sight mounting hole on the slide. I'm working with two different designs here. The first design actually uses the factory front sight. The front sight acts sort of as a nut for the screw, the factory front sight screw, and it holds the whole thing, the whole front of the cover kind of sandwiched in between the two. This has pros and cons. The pros are that this uses all factory hardware. This is stuff, if you have a Glock slide, you will have this stuff. The con to this is that I don't know that I necessarily trust the holding capabilities of a relatively shallow screw engagement onto a plastic front sight. And it may be the way to go, it may not be the way to go. This is why we test. I fully expect this at the range, the first couple of shots, this thing to just yeet itself into oblivion, which is why we'll be firing it off axis to make sure I don't get hit in the face with it. So that holds it in the front, keeps it from coming up, keeps it from coming back. In the rear, you have an extended rear plate. So it's I'm calling it a plug. It's about yay long, and it replaces the rear plate on your pistol. It has a hole through it with a corresponding hole in the cover, so it fits snugly on the cover, fits snugly on the plug, and then is retained with that pin. So that way you've got good retention at the rear as well. I've seen some slide cover options, like the block, the sort of Lego themed Glock. That requires like an RMR mount. The problem is different manufacturers do RMR mounts in different ways. They're cut to different specs. They're cut on different places on the slide. They use different screw specs, and it's just like, it's a little messy to design for. So I wanted this to be able to work with any normal factory spec slide. But yeah, so this is the first prototype. So it looks a little rough. It's, you know, the printing wasn't the best on it. I was going kind of fast. I printed a couple of these covers working through iterations, and this probably won't even be the one that I shoot. It might not. The second option that I'm working at for front retention is actually going to use some M3 nuts or screws and nuts. The problem is finding an M3 screw that's shallow enough to fit. It almost has to be flat. So what I might do is I might try to instead find a nut that works with the threads for that factory Glock sight screw, because I know that's low enough to clear the barrel inside the slide. And if we could find the corresponding nut, I would trust that a lot more to hold the slide down than the plastic front sight. And then I can just design the front sight into the kit itself. But as it sits, it, you know, fully works like normal, works kind of just like a normal Glock. Let that go forward back enough. I'm trying to be quiet here and failing miserably. You may notice there is no separate trigger guard here. That's because art is dangerous. But really, I mean, exercise caution. Don't be stupid. Don't accidentally shoot yourself with this thing. That would be a ridiculous tragedy that's completely avoidable by not being dumb, by keeping your trigger finger off the trigger. But yeah, so there you go. That is your first full look at my my Glock 19 based Halo Magnum project. As with all of my files, I don't know why I have to keep explaining this, but I get people asking a lot. All of my files are first released to my all access and above subscribers on BooliganShootingSports.com. They help pay for the work. They get early access. After that, then all of my files get released publicly about a month or so later on BooliganCustomGunworks.com, which is a website that takes you straight to my Odyssey page, where everything is currently hosted. So if you'd like to get earliest access, the frame on this, the first version of the frame on this is actually, it's already been on Booligan Shooting Sports. Just not the cover yet, because I'm still doing a lot of development work on the cover before I feel comfortable releasing that in beta. But yeah, so they get early access to stuff. Otherwise, if you just want to wait, you can wait, and it'll be ready with the rest of us. But yeah, so stay tuned. We'll do more development work on this. We'll get this out to the range, see how it shoots, see how it works, see how violently I can throw this 50-gram piece of plastic into my face. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching.